Welcome to Vietnam, a land of vibrant energy, rich traditions, and diversity. I'm Tan, Contract Logistics Business Development Manager at KN Vietnam. From the iconic Ben Thanh Market to bustling city streets and the serene countryside, every corner has its story. Let us show you around. Dương, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Dương Lê, Sea Logistics Operational Care Manager at KN Vietnam. Many things Ho Chi Minh City are actually the capital of Vietnam. However, it is actually Hanoi, my hometown, rich in culture and history. From Hanoi to central heritage towns to vibrant Ho Chi Minh City, each region has its own flavor to Vietnam's story. And now, come with me and let's experience a typical morning in Ho Chi Minh City.
I'm Hawa, Network Key Account Manager for Healthcare at KN Vietnam. We start our day at one of the many coffee spots near our Saigon office. Did you know that Vietnam is the second largest coffee producer, famous for its Robusta beans? My go-to order is a coffee soda, sweet and strong. Okay, let's go to the office.
Cảm ơn em. Hi, I'm Tuyên Nguyễn, Sea Logistics IC Operational Care Supervisor. My morning start with bánh mì, an iconic street food found on every corner. It's simple, delicious, but full of local flavor.
Hi, I'm Diệp Doãn, National Air Logistics Customer Care Manager at KN Vietnam. What I enjoy most here is the people. We support each other, grow together, and I'm proud to work in the team where half of our leaders are women. We are now discussing about how global companies are turning their attention to Vietnam, a rising star of Asia. Hi, you want to share why Vietnam is becoming a rising economy?
Sure, thank you, chị Diệp. Hi, I'm Như Mai, and I'm a Sea Logistics Customer Care Specialist in Hanoi. Well, Vietnam's location connects us to major markets across Southeast Asia, attracting global companies. But what really sets us apart is our people. They are hardworking, adaptable, resilient, and always ready to learn, embrace change, and solve challenges.
Thank you for your sharing. Bjorn, could you tell us what's making Vietnam so exciting right now?
Great. Cảm ơn Yip. And xin chào from Vietnam to everyone from Dong Nai province and our newly open RDC here next to Ho Chi Minh City. We're about 35 kilometers outside of Ho Chi Minh City. We have also about 35 degrees, so it's going to be a hot town hall. And before I get started, I would like to first of all extend our welcome to the Lego Group, which is with us here with us today. Elena, welcome. And of course, Stefan, our global CEO. Very special welcome to our Kuehne+Nagel Vietnam team. And of course, everyone who is listening to us today globally along or among the Kuehne+Nagel offices all over the world. Let me also say a special thank you to my team who is setting up the scene today. It was a lot of work. Until 11 p.m. yesterday, our IT specialists were working to set everything up. So thank you very much for that as well. To answer on Yip's question, and I have only 2-3 minutes, but I could talk for hours. It's exactly what we said in the video. It's a country with endless opportunities right now. We experience growth which the country has not seen before. We have customers joining us in Vietnam, and we as Kuehne+Nagel Vietnam, we are ready to be the extension of your business all over the Kuehne+Nagel world. With this strategic location, we are becoming a logistic hub in Southeast Asia. And the best evidence is the RDC, which we opened yesterday, which will grow up to 16,000 square meters by end of the year. Lego is just one of the logos which makes us very proud, especially in Vietnam. But what makes me very proud of being part of that team, the organization in Vietnam and the people. Yip has mentioned it in the video, and it's everyday joy coming to the office and see those people, the energy on how we drive business and how we want to be part of that very successful Kuehne+Nagel network. Today, it marks 31 years since we have opened our first office in Ho Chi Minh City. Today, we have 750 Kuehne+Nagel colleagues in Vietnam in more than 11 locations. The town hall for us is a great moment. And it makes us proud to be part of that and be basically hosting this here today. With that final remark, I would like to hand over to our global CEO, Stefan. Thank you.
Thank you, Björn, and to your team. A warm welcome from my side to this 7th Global Town Hall. Good afternoon, colleagues in Asia. Good morning to our colleagues in Europe. For the American, it's a little more challenging. Thank you for those who have dialed in. Elena, thank you for joining us today from the Lego Group. Warm welcome to you and your colleagues here today. And warm has really a meaningful purpose here, I can tell you. This is my first trip to Vietnam, and you can feel the energy. Björn was talking about it. Very motivated and young team. It's exciting to be in Vietnam, the world's fastest growing economy of the mature markets, a GDP growth of 7.5% and a population of 100 million people. I've met with colleagues and customers, had great discussions since last Sunday. Yesterday, we inaugurated this Lego Regional Distribution Center where we are standing now. Located strategically close to the new manufacturing facility, very sustainable to serve Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, and soon as well India. Strengthening their Asia-Pacific logistics network and leveraging market growth there. In a moment, Elena from Lego Group will join me here on stage to talk about her customer experience with us. But before we go into the details, let me just reiterate a little bit on an announcement we made a couple of days ago. My dear fellow colleague Gianfranco Scro, who was heading up contract logistics the last 10 years, has decided to leave the organization to pursue a CEO role in a mobility company based in London as of October 1st. I remember the days when we started together in the board, and then we had a lot of hiccups in contract logistics, always challenging when we went into the implementation phase of a business. This is completely over, contract logistics, and thank you very much, Gianfranco. I hope you're listening in, and your team, you did an outstanding job. It's very stable, it's growing year after year, and the margin and the satisfaction ratio which we have achieved with customers is really second to none in the marketplace. And really, I have high respect on what has been achieved with the team the last couple of years. Eduardo Razzuk is going to join us on board effectively October 1st as well. I know Eduardo quite some time ago, and you know, in my times as HO when I was leading Road, we had one very specific topic in South America, in Brazil, with the Eichenberg acquisition, which went not too well. And this is the moment when you really learn the capability from a manager, right? When the heat comes, right? And Eduardo was really very helpful to turn around the business, and then we together sold it very successfully. So good luck to you and your leadership team, Eduardo. And then Another announcement or another change is coming into the road organization, and I have to say I'm really, really thankful what Hans-Jörg has done. We always, from the very beginning, had a very open, transparent discussion about when he's going to retire, and he said to me, I will help you, I will do everything what needs to be possible to bring road forward and manage the customs agenda as well, and I will step down when I'm turning 60, and this is exactly happening next year. So he was helpful as well in the transition to his potential successor. We have announced it, Soren Schmidt joining us from DSV, one of the most probably positive bespoken person in the road environment on the globe is going to join us effectively May 1st, and I'm looking very much forward as well to welcome Soren then next summer. And thanks to the road team, I know it's very tough currently in Europe in particular with the domestic markets in France and in Germany, and with the volumes which we are all missing in the marketplace, but under the leadership of now Hans-Jörg until next summer, and then Soren, you will succeed in this difficult environment. So to both of you, thank you, and all the best for the new role. So let me start now to give you a little bit more sentiment or general market sentiment, how we have done in the first half year and what's ahead of us. So you have seen the numbers. In the first half of 2025, we have been able to grow the business. And remember, we started this growth initiative in September 2024. And back in Atlanta, that was the key theme of the town hall: grow the company. And we have been rather successful in the first half of 2025. Sea freight has grown by 2%, air freight has grown by 7%. In the second quarter, we have seen an air freight growth of more than 9%. So what is really positive about that is not only the growth and the figures, is as well that none of our large European competitors has seen this growth. And I can really say thank you very much, and you can proud, all of you around the globe can proud what we have achieved. There's another discussion in the marketplace, and you might remember when DSV has announced to take over Schenker, everybody was saying now Kuehne+Nagel is losing the #1 spot in sea freight and air freight from a volume perspective, right? And there was a huge debate everywhere, and you have seen it in the press. And I can tell you, this is not happening in 2025. With the growth of the teams, right, and both sides, we will maintain #1 spot, which is really cool, guys, right? But there's always, not only in Kuehne+Nagel, but there's always a but or however, right? When we talk, we celebrate, but we are in an environment, and I want to really be transparent with you. We are currently in an environment which has changed completely the last couple of weeks. And when I say change completely, what do I mean with that, right? We are seeing a very challenging months or quarters ahead of us. And why is that the case? So first of all, we have less demand on volumes from customers and an oversupply, particularly in sea freight, because the carriers are bringing more and more ships into the equation. So we have more supply and a very soft demand. So CNBC 48 hours ago has announced or has shared the export numbers from China sea freight to the US. And in August, so the last month in August, volume has dropped by 33%. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor. And what is causing that? It's causing that the rates are really going down. And with lower rates, a forwarder like Kuehne+Nagel and the entire market has less on port capabilities to increase or to keep the margin. So we see that there is a lot of or tremendous pressure coming from customers, from the market into the margin, into the yield per unit when it comes to sea and air freight. So why I'm telling you that, because this most probably requires a couple of measures, and I come to that in a minute. On another note, you see a lot of numbers flowing around in the marketplace. I just want to give you one number or two on the size. How many people are working for Kuehne+Nagel? In September 2024, we had 80,500 colleagues around the globe working for our company. This is September. So now, 2025, we have 3,600 people working for us, so more than 4,000 people more. So the growth initiative and our focus on growing the company organically creates jobs. But that does not mean that we do not need to look into what's right for us, what is the right setup, right? So we are growing. However, when the market requires us to have adjust the business, we need to do that. And we are not standing still on executing on our ambition. What I will do now is I will give you an update on the progress of Roadmap, which we have launched in 2023, what drives our growth ambition 2026, and a couple of questions I will answer. How we will lead consistently across the organization, so leadership, how we get better at telling our great stories, because perception is reality, as better our stories are in the marketplace towards our customers, as more customers will be interested in us, and how we better serve our customers, so the CX part. Technology is a very important pillar. We want to become the most tech-capable company in our industry. And how do we scale our business in the hyperscaler market will follow at the end of my presentation, which is a new focus on the cornerstone market potential. But before I go into the details, let me invite Elena Talenti, Global Procurement Senior Director from Lego, and find out about Lego and their vision towards Kuehne+Nagel.
Hello.
Welcome, Elena.
Thank you.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. It's great to be here.
We had a very nice afternoon session yesterday with the inauguration. Let me ask you a couple of questions, right?
Sure.
I think the audience is pretty much interested. First, can you take us back to the beginning of our partnership? What were some of the key milestones that have shaped the collaboration between the Lego Group and Kuehne+Nagel over the years?
Sure. So our history dates back to 2012 when we opened a small operations in Belgium. It was Lego Education and e-commerce. Originally, it was managed by us directly in Billund. It was the first time we were actually moving to a third-party operations, which was, of course, yours. I think it was very small. It was manual. Everything was manual. And I think the big milestone there was in 2017 when the two teams decided that it was time to implement the first phase of automation. And they had this vision that had to happen. And I call it vision because at that time there was absolutely no business case sustaining that. But they truly believed that that was the time to do it. And they worked together. They actually made a business case that could work. So they created a financial framework that was very positive for both. And they implemented automation for the first time there. And that proved to be crucial because when pandemic hit in 2020, that was the only site that could actually cope with the peak, completely unexpected peak and unforecasted peak. So that also obviously had a positive impact on the image of Kuehne+Nagel inside our company, which is also the reason why in 2021 you were awarded of another warehouse in Middle East, in Dubai. Also there, quite challenging because the whole tender process, award, site visits and implementations were done on video calls. Unfortunately, no one could travel at that time. But again, it started pretty much all there. Then I think another significant milestone was at the end of 2021, where we together understood that if you wanted to unlock more opportunities and unlock opportunities outside the EMEA region, it was time to invest into the account. And that's where we started having the first conversations around having more of a global perspective into this account. And you started working to implement the new global key account structure. And at the same time, in the Lego Group, it was the moment where we decided to really invest in capacity and to double our production capacity. And with that, obviously, enlarge our footprint, distribution footprint. So the two things came together, and you were actually open to multiple opportunities. And that's the reason why between 2022 and 2024, you were awarded of ocean and air tender. You had Australia, you had RDC Vietnam, and the second RDC in Europe. So everything together, very accelerated growth. And I think it's important to acknowledge also that it didn't come for free. I mean, it was not a walk in the park. Let's be honest, all that growth in such a short period of time came with many challenges. And I think the success that and the reason why we are here today to celebrate is really coming from the effort, dedication, and care every single person put from both companies in each of these projects. So if today we are here celebrating a successful launch of this RDC, it's because of that dedication.
Thank you very much. Very much encouraging, right? And we had a little bit of a discussion the last couple of hours, right? So, and what Elena said as well is we were able to listen. We are all salespeople, and the intention is we go in a meeting and try to sell our products, but sometimes we forget to listen to customers, right? I can only encourage you, listen first and act after. So thank you very much for this one. The second one is on sustainability. It's a core of the Lego Group, sustainability. And could you share what the commitment means for you and how Kuehne+Nagel can support you on that journey?
Of course. So, as you correctly said, sustainability, it's a core value, it's a core commitment in the Lego Group. It's really because we believe that companies like ours have a responsibility in making this world a better place for the children to inherit. So it's a commitment that is held very high in our organization, from our executive leadership team to our board and obviously the owner family. And then it's brought to life across the whole organization. And in the past years, we have made sizable investments, especially starting with our own manufacturing sites, where we have invested heavily in solar capacity, reducing waste, reducing water. And in parallel, of course, we have worked hard on our product. I mean, it's not a secret that our bricks are made of plastic. And obviously, the biggest challenge that we have to overcome as a company is how to make them more sustainable while still maintaining the excellent quality we are known for. But we are proud to say that when we focused on our materials, the materials that go into the bricks, we managed in 2024 to achieve 50% of these materials being from sustainable sources, and we are on track to 60% by the end of 2025. But even with all this effort, even with the focus on product and our own manufacturing, we would still be far from achieving our goals, especially when we look at carbon reduction, emissions, and our science-based target commitment. And that's also where the partnership comes into play. We do have, and we have launched a supplier sustainability program where we work with our selected and most impactful suppliers. Obviously, Kuehne+Nagel is one of them. And together, we start from data, collecting data on our emissions, analyzing our emissions, finding together opportunities for reduction, and then implementing actions that are meaningful. What we have done together in the past years is exactly this. We have taken every single step in our supply chain, and we have applied a sustainability lens to everything. So we have reduced cardboard in our operations in the warehouse. We have biofuels on our ocean shipments, etc. So at every single step, we have done that. Because I think it's key to acknowledge that you cannot become more sustainable. You cannot have a sustainable supply chain in isolation. It needs to be done in partnership. We can only do that together with companies like yours, because we share the same vision. And at the same time, because as a customer, for us, it's important to be able to count on someone who has a certain position in the market, who has the ability to influence the market, and can unlock alternative solutions for us. So that's how we will continue to work together to make our supply chains more sustainable.
Thank you very much, Elena, on that. And I tell you, this will be music in the ears of our ESG people around the globe, because we know it's not so easy anymore, but we have committed ourselves towards the customers to be on track to help them to reduce their CO2 emission. And that's the reason why it was so important that you as a customer coming from Lego have reiterated that statement. Last but not least, we are proud of the strong relationship we've built with the Lego Group since 2012. What more can we do to deepen the strategic relationship with you and the group?
So first, thank you for acknowledging that. I think both our companies are very proud of what we have achieved so far in terms of relationship. Obviously, it all started with trust created by consistent service and reliable service, and then over time it has developed into a strategic relationship, a strategic partnership, as we call it. I think it flourished mostly because of the investments we both made. So we worked a lot on the structure. We worked on having the right people engaged, having the right people at the table, securing alignment across regions and organizations, making sure we had the right dialogues at global, regional, local level, securing alignment and transparency. So we invested a lot of time in creating a frame. One of the main milestones is last year we signed off our joint business plan, which is a way for us, both companies, to work exactly in the same direction because we have given us common targets. We will, and we are working on concrete actions together so that we can achieve common goals. So instead of working in parallel, we will just walk the same path together. And that's quite unique, I would say. But I think that despite all the structure, this kind of partnership would not be possible and this kind of trust would not be achievable without all the candid and transparent dialogues we had, especially in challenging times, right? We, as I said before, not everything went smoothly from the beginning, and I think that the value Kuehne+Nagel brought to the table is really the fact that in many cases you put the customer first. So in many cases you were also able to sacrifice your own interest and we put together our minds and you were listening to us, you know, you were listening to our needs, to our concerns, to our complaints, I'm sorry, many times. But also you were able to learn from that. I think you were very brave in admitting mistakes sometimes, but also you had the courage to challenge us. You were not just there simply executing what we were asking you to do, but in many cases you challenged us saying that we could do things differently. And that was absolutely a way to grow together. And again, that's unique, so you should be very proud of that. So to answer, your question briefly, I think if we look ahead, we have a strong, solid foundation. We need to build on that, and especially looking at the logistic landscape. You just mentioned it. I mean, it comes with constant changes, constant challenges. So we really need, as a customer again, to rely on partners like you, who are not just meeting today's demands and needs, but who are actually bold enough to take us by hand and prepare us for the challenges of tomorrow. And given that we have trusted you since 2012, I believe we are on the right path to do even better.
Thank you very much. Very encouraging. And it seems as well, listening to Lena, that we have learned our lesson on customer first, CX, what is important, how do we treat, how do we support, how do we lead our customers in a better future. Makes me really proud. Just a little bit of a recap on Roadmap 2026. And in 2023, we have announced the roadmap with 12 non-negotiables. And I will pick a couple of them in order to give you an update how we are doing, what kind of insights have we gathered. So the first topic is the global onboarding app. Remember, in 2023, we had no global onboarding app and we had no consisting onboarding process around Kuehne+Nagel. In the meanwhile, we have this onboarding app available in 102 countries and 1,000 locations. In 2024, 8,200 new hires out of 12,000 downloaded the onboarding app, and you do it even onboarding before, right? And they rated it as highly satisfied with 4.66 out of 5 score points. Now we have a very solid and good onboarding process, followed up by the buddy process. I think this is something we promised, we delivered, and we get very good feedback from the new colleagues joining our organization. Remember when we went into MS365, the latest technology with Microsoft, and then we initiated BlueNet. It's intensively and globally used, and we have, since we launched it, 58 million views on BlueNet. We have 500 sites and 58 country sites. So there's a huge demand on gathering knowledge, sharing knowledge within an organization of our size. So I would say with 58 million views, this is quite remarkable and successful. Copilot, ChatGPT, AI-enabled approved apps being adopted, right? So just for your understanding, we have 13,300 monthly active users. So 13,000 Kuehne+Nagel people are actively using either Copilot or any of the approved ChatGPT open chat versions in order to increase the way how they help customers and of course improve the processes. Performance enablement is very new. We have the new so-called People Hub launched in 2025. In the past, we had multiple fragmented HR systems, and now we have one integrated platform for all of us, where we manage onboarding, performance reviews, learning and career development for employees and all joiners. And for leaders, we manage the process much more effective. So there is one HR tool covering everything. Great place to work, we always forget, right? So we have done it now 2 times. We started in 2023. 64 countries are certified, 12 more than in 2023 out of 2024. The F&D people, so our colleagues in fulfillment and distribution, contributed with 76% last year, 6% up. Office participation was 85%, 5% up. And we received 52,000 comments almost, 6,000 comments more than previous year. And that gives us a better understanding about how you think, what is important to you. High engagement, and everybody has seen it on the screen, right? On the blue screen, Kuehne+Nagel screen, when you switch off your computer in the morning, in 5 days, the next great place to work survey will be kicked off, so please participate accordingly. CX, Voice of Customer, second year 2024. NPS score was 21 in 2023, 6% up to 27 in 2024. And NPS measures, and we heard it from Elena, loyalty and satisfaction ratio of our customers. And the question, which is very important to answer, is how likely you as a customer are you recommending our company, Kuehne+Nagel, or our product and services to a friend or to a colleague? 27 is quite okay, let's call it good, but the average in logistics is 38. So we have room to maneuver when it comes to how are our customers perceive and see our services. 38 is the average. Contract logistics, and they started years ago already, are at 36, so are very close to the average of the industry. Another topic which we have launched is car and service moments. We used sea freight as the first blueprint, as the first business unit, and we started the rollout in September 2024. We have now 94 countries and trained. 50% of these countries are already using car and service moments actively, with 300 CCLs and 940,000 customer inquiries. So what we have now is we have all the data to use AI, artificial, in order to improve the customer service. That was the prerequisite for the next step. Let's talk about a couple of new initiatives. But before, I need a glass of water, or at least a sip. A couple of new initiatives. What's new? What's ahead of us? What are we going to launch? Through the Great Place to Work survey, you ask our people, you ask for more leadership, consistent leadership across the country organizations, right? And we were listening carefully. That's why we have launched our first global leadership initiative. You see it here, Global Leadership Initiative, which has been co-created with our national management teams and supported by a person called Wolfgang Jennewein and his team. He's an external provider specialized on leadership trainings. And you can see here from the values, inspire, empower, deliver, that all the values, for all the values, we have an ambition. So spark the ambition, be bold with ideas. So execute bold ideas, think outside of your box. The second thing, I think, is the most important leadership aspiration for me: build a star team. Collaboration is key. It's not about individual stars. It's about building high-performing teams and shine together. And you see that in soccer. The Europeans say football, right? You see that in soccer. When you go to the Champions League, the World Cups, right? not the teams with the highest paid players, with the individual stars normally win. The team who really collectively go for a joint success are winning the medals, right? And that is exactly what we need to do in our organization as well. And last but not least, own today and shape tomorrow, leading and drive meaningful change. And that as well resonates to Elena's comments. The world is changing constantly, and that's exactly what is required. 7,000 leaders have been trained, and the feedback so far was positive, very positive, and we are cascading now the training down into the entire company. The next one is very interesting for you, and everybody outside now, and as well if you listen to the recording, pay attention to it. How do we tell our stories better? Perception is reality. How do we tell our stories better? We are launching a new employee advocacy tool. We call it employee advocacy tool for social media. And we start with LinkedIn, most probably Facebook, Instagram, TikTok will follow, but we start with LinkedIn. And it's about getting our stories outside to the world. And it requires your individual help. Everybody of you are cordially invited. And we want you to share great things we do with our own voice. So you share the great stories with your own voice. So now the system is, now we're back. The system was doing something without me doing a lot, right? So, but that is the life, right? So this is exactly what I said. Sometimes you need to deal with that. So now the system is gone completely. Karma. Don't switch, please, don't switch. So you will get prepared with content, coming back to this, how do we share our stories? You will get prepared with content from us, such stories, solutions, events, videos, shop openings, and much more. And now this, whatever is going to happen here. Apologize, but but what you need to do, you need to sign up for the tool first, right? This week, as we speak, the tool goes live, and you will see it on BlueNet. And please join, register yourself, and then you can use the content individually and use it for your own stories on LinkedIn and later on other social media tools. So you're cordially invited to watch out. It will be communicated in BlueNet in the course of this week. Another topic which we have discussed now for more than 2 years is customer service and customer service training. 2026 will be the year of customer experience at Kuehne+Nagel. Yeah? Why? Because every interaction, every discussion, and every moment of service defines how our customer experience Kuehne+Nagel, and we heard it from one of the customers who is very satisfied with us. And it's critical for our growth ambition. We want to ensure exciting new customers and that they are satisfied and retained. And we always talk about the back door, right? That we do not lose existing customers. Years ago, our industry was losing 25% on the smaller customers every year, and that's exactly what we need to address with this training. Everybody will be trained. So our office workers and our F&D people, it's a so-called awareness training to create a better customer experience. Customer-facing teams, so people who are facing customers on a daily basis, will have a little bit more training sessions, focus on communication, empathy, important, relationship building, and more. And this is the way how we build consistency, culture, and a better customer service for Kuehne+Nagel in the future. Now, you might have seen this gentleman already, Markus Claessen. We're making solid progress with our digital ecosystem, and I was talking about digital ecosystem, and Niklas was there last time as well, or the time before. And what is really important to understand is IT is not just a supporting function, right? IT is vital and strategic for our company. It's really important that we put a lot of attention into the development. And I'm happy to have Markus here, and let's hear from him, our new head of IT, on how he sees the role of IT transforming logistics in the years ahead.
Hello, Stefan. Hello to all of you around the world. I'm Markus Claesson, your new CIO, and this is my 10th day in the role. I'm originally from Sweden and recently moved to Switzerland with my family. We're really excited to be here. I'm passionate about the role of technology in business, and what really drives me is bringing people and tech together to create tangible business value. We tend to look at our industry as moving physical goods. However, in reality, the technology behind is increasingly differentiating and critical for our overall success. In many ways, technology defines customer experience, but also our success in attracting talent and working with partners. Technology has become a key element in our company strategy, and the team has made significant progress in shaping our digital ecosystem, modernizing IT, moving to cloud, and laying the foundation for AI. Even though a lot of change has been implemented, which sometimes can be painful, we can't lean back. Technology is a fast-moving space, and we need to continue and further accelerate our efforts to stay relevant and lead our industry. My ambition, together with all of you, is for us to become a digital leader and the most tech-capable company in this business. Let me give you 3 reasons why. First of all, this will enable us to integrate even more deeply with our customers and partners through our API architecture. It will make our customers' experience with us seamless, transparent, more efficient, and real-time. Secondly, it will also enable us to automate manual effort and improve accuracy across our value chain. For instance, by applying agentic AI in areas such as document processing. Last but not least, it will make us more resilient in managing risks, opportunities, service offerings, and pricing through advanced analytics and AI. Technology can really open up new business models that further strengthen our company. But in order to succeed, we need to imagine the art of the possible and make it happen. This can only be achieved by connecting and collaborating to drive innovation, by unlocking our potential and pursuing technology as a strategic lever, by focusing on how we can drive value, both top-line growth and bottom-line efficiency. That's quite a cultural challenge, and it will take time, but ultimately, that's what we need to achieve in order for Kuehne+Nagel to be the digital leader and even more successful in future. And that's exactly what attracted me to join Kuehne+Nagel. Let's shape the future together. And now, back to you, Stefan.
Thank you very much, Markus. Everything is working properly, IT, thank you very much. And I'm really keen to work with him and the leadership team to really evolve, especially on agentic AI, on the digital front, digital agents, which are coming to our industry. Now, not the last topic, but the previous last topic is, remember in Atlanta, we announced for the first time our Global Community Engagement Award, the Social Impact Awards. Do you remember this? This is about how we serve our communities better. Last year, our team here in Vietnam won the Local Impact Award for the support to help 270 rural children at their school with education, essentials, and enhancing their cool school infrastructure. That was you. Now, we are calling for new nomination for the Global Community Engagement Award 2025. Remember, 3 categories. First, local impact. Second, volunteering heroes. And third, ESG priorities. Remember, submit your proposals by October 31st. And let's keep up the great work and active support for communities and sustainability efforts, please. My last topic before we go into the Q&A is focusing on the cornerstone market potential. And the question, how do we lead in new industries and markets? Let me start with a quick question and show your hands. How many of you have heard the term hyperscaler? Okay, let's say 5 to 10% of the room. Then let me explain what a hyperscaler is. Hyperscalers are large cloud service providers, primarily based in the US. This includes companies like Amazon Web Services, better known as AWS, Microsoft Azure, from MS365 known, Google Cloud Platform GCP, Meta Facebook, Oracle Cloud, and IBM Cloud. In China, the major players are Alibaba Cloud, known as Ali Cloud, Huawei Cloud, and Tencent Cloud. This is a hyperscaler. These are the large global hyperscalers. The hyperscaler industry, so everything around data center, right, is experiencing explosive growth driven by a global surge in demand for artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, data storage, and transformation taking place across every industry as we speak. And it's happening now, and it's happening extremely fast. The hyperscaler market, so these companies, are set to grow by 20% CAGR until 2030. So they will grow every year significantly, double digit. Hyperscaler, these companies control 70% of the cloud market and the racks globally, right? Rack shipments, and this is what we execute for hyperscalers, are expected to grow with 15 to 20% annually through 2025. And here in Vietnam, we have one of our mega hubs, right? We fly out 12 747 together with Apex out of Hanoi every week to the US with digital products, racks, technology products from our customers, and this is growing as we speak. North America overall leads the hyperscaler market with 50-60%, but other markets like Europe and Asia are catching up. Overall, the investment into this market is $3 trillion. $3 trillion will go into this marketplace, which is outstanding and massive. So it as well gives us the opportunity, massive opportunity, but the window is very close because they need our support now and not in a couple of years' time. So we are working with AWS since quite some time and scaling our business with them. Interesting enough, here in Vietnam, we have just started, I think last week, to onboard the Microsoft business in sea freight, followed by the rack delivery for Microsoft now as well into the US. We are talking to other customers as well, as you can imagine, and we invest in capabilities, expertise, and critical hires to build this foundation. A warm welcome outside here to the approximately 50 new colleagues who have just joined us between July and August, who will help us to really grow with these companies I've mentioned just before. I wish you personally the best of luck, and let's ensure that Kuehne+Nagel becomes the market leader in the hyperscaler space. So good luck to you. So that brings me to the Q&A session, and I would like to invite Caroline and Björn to stage. Good.
Okay, hi. So, Stefan and Bjorn, during the town hall, colleagues submitted questions. And often in the town hall, AI is a big topic, and we got many questions on that. So I thought we'd kick off with that first. With the growing use of generative AI in the business world, how and where would you see this would impact KN, particularly towards the future?
Yeah, let me take that question. So maybe twofold. First of all, I think my generation, our leadership, right, we need to understand and learn what AI means. And what we have done recently, a couple of weeks ago, we have created a subject matter expert team. And the subject matter expert team is not coming from our leaders, it's very young people. We have identified the most powerful users of Copilot and the open sources in our company, and we have basically gathered them together, roughly 30 people, right, who are really engaged in AI and all the use cases, and now we want to leverage their knowledge, and we want to get coached, right, on board level by these people to understand what do they see, what can they basically bring to the party in order to become better for Kuehne+Nagel. So it's a reverse coaching project, right? Not we as leaders coach the young generation, they coach us and tell us exactly what we need to do. And hopefully we start as we speak, right? That will really connect the dots between the two, basically the power users and us leading the business. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I think for every business leader is really important, but at the same time challenging, that we do identify the right topics. Because at the end of the day, if we are not able to leverage the large language models, the digital agents, the AI, the agentic AI capabilities, what the market is bringing us from these hyperscalers, some of them are really important to leverage, then we will not maintain our #1 spot in the marketplace. So it's extremely important that we are open and willing and to understand that this is a technology which we need to embrace, and Markus as well was talking about it, and I'm pretty sure he will help us to really do the right things.
Great.
So it's absolutely important and vital.
Great, fantastic. So the next question that's come in is on the topic of sales. The question is it possible to get an update on the first weeks of Shirley Patterson as our new global head of sales?
You take that, yeah?
I take that, yeah. So I love to work with her, I tell you, right? And she is always reminding me that how much time do you spend on customers? How much time do we spend on customers? What is really important on the relationship building? And I think here she will drive us to a different category moving forward. She has identified already 7 really flagship accounts, as she calls it, right? Where we need to do something completely different in terms of executive sponsorship, really be very bold with them, not a couple of 10 millions growth, more in the 100 millions of growth. And she is really driving us, and I can only, feedback is very positive, right? The pressure is high, of course, right? And she now currently, together with the GBDs, so the global business vertical leads, she is looking into the best setup for the GA program moving forward. I think she is very engaged. And I have now, I think, together with her in the next 4 weeks, 7 or 8 top management, C-level, top class management meetings where she is introducing me to the leaders on the other side. So pretty much looking forward, and I'm pretty sure that she will do a good job with her leadership team. So pretty happy that she has joined us.
Great, fantastic. So we've just got a question in, actually on Vietnam. So Bjorn, maybe, or both of you. Does Vietnam become a hub of Southern Asia, like Singapore has for DHL? And what will KN focus on, sea freight or air freight in the next 5 years?
Yeah, to answer that, I think it's very difficult to compare Vietnam with Singapore because these are 2 completely different markets. As a hub, I would say, to take that from a different business unit perspective, we are building up, as Stefan mentioned before, on air, tremendous capacity right now in Hanoi. And that has potentially and is already to a certain extent hub character, right? Then we see with our customer here, Lego, they have built for a reason a factory in Vietnam because they will use it as a hub as well. So it will become a regional distribution center, or this warehouse acts as a regional distribution center to supply the Southeast Asian market as well as Australia and New Zealand. We see also other customers doing similar investments. I think it gets along with what the country is investing. So we see major investments of the Vietnamese government in port infrastructure, airport infrastructure. Ho Chi Minh is getting a second major airport. There are things which have to go along with as well, which is road infrastructure. There, I think we can still see some improvements, and it's on the way because as we speak, it's being built. But then it goes also to the next step, which is customs clearance procedures, which it can still be improved. For example, still those steps are still highly complex. But yes, we see customers moving into that direction because it has a cost advantage compared, for example, to a market like Singapore.
Okay, so building up as a hub.
Yeah,
a
I
very
think
strong hub.
we are in the progress that it gets, let's say, that power and the DNA of a typical hub function.
Great. So the next question that's come in, so Stefan, in the talk, you hinted at some market challenges, especially in the second half. So the question is, in a challenging marketplace, are there any plans or any restrictions that employees could expect?
Yeah, and fair question, and I will be absolutely transparent. So the first and foremost topic is yield. Cost measures can never replace yield distractions, right? And everybody really needs to focus on yield, 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 outside of the volume growth, which is anyway coming because we have the right program in place now. But everybody needs to protect yield as much as we can. But on the other side, the question was what's coming in terms of the cost measures. We have just decided that as of next Monday, September 15th, we have a global travel ban. We only allow traveling for customer purpose, right? So customer purpose, we will not stop. Do me a favor, people outside, don't show up with 10 people, right? Limit it as much as you can, but customer is still able to travel. But the rest, the internal stuff, let's leverage Teams and let's really bring it down to the maximum in order to manage the cost properly. And other measures will follow as well, but we try to basically do it in the same way as we have done it during COVID, right? We stay tuned, we have the program, we execute the program, but more cost measures, of course, have to be implemented in a market environment which is really challenging for the next couple of quarters.
Okay, so there's another question similar, and it says, in light of the recently announced changes within the US management structure, should we expect similar adjustments to be replicated in other parts of the world in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, absolutely vital and fair as well. So what we have done, or what Marcus has announced a couple of hours ago, is that we streamline our EOS operation. The German organization, by the way, has done that already 4 or 5 years ago. We do not have branch managers or regional managers there as well, and this is a consequence of what we have done with the project Move in 2024. You remember, right? So this is not new, or this is a consequence, an evaluation of what we have decided last year. And of course, there are no huge programs to restructure the company. Of course not. But always we need to look, and this is what I can only reiterate, right? We need to look into opportunities where we can streamline our operation, where we can take out cost, where we can be more effective closer to the customers as we speak. As more difficult the market will become, as more agile, and we have talked about bold moves we need to become. So I cannot basically exclude that there is something happening if markets are collapsing, but we do not have a huge project like Move on the horizon, and that I can confirm, but we need to fine-tune our P&L wherever we have a shortfall.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Can I maybe ask if there's anybody in the audience that would like to ask a question? We have some microphones that we can pass around. Would anybody like to ask anything? Anyone? No? No? It's your chance.
Become a star.
Yeah? Be bold. No?
Then you continue.
No? Okay. So then...
Dennis.
Yeah. Then... so another question for you, Bjorn, on Vietnam has just come in. So it says Vietnam has clearly become a strategic growth market. You mentioned that in your answer before. What do you think are going to be the next big opportunities to grow here in Vietnam?
I think one thing you mentioned already, hyperscaler, but that's what we see or as we speak. Mm-hmm. At the moment, the mega trends are definitely the developments we see in the north of Vietnam, in the area of Hanoi and Haiphong, the China Plus One developments. So we see numerous of customers, American driven, but also Chinese customers who are moving production into Vietnam. So that's definitely a mega trend, which we can see right now, and it will also not just stop. Yeah? Also the tariffs, everybody talks about the US tariffs. That is also obviously impacting us heavily. But as it seems right now, we are still benefiting from that development. So as long as that will be driving our business as we speak. As an investment, we want to further diversify our service offering. So we want to go into different markets where we're not represented here today. That can be the reefer product, for example, which has a great global footprint, and we have not yet leveraged that to the extent where I believe we should penetrate the market, and other solutions as well. Yeah. Then you mentioned our charter operation out of Hanoi, which is obviously a very bold investment. So together with Apex, we are running right now 12 charters weekly out of Hanoi to penetrate that market. And it basically puts us in pole position here in the marketplace in Vietnam, because no other airline nor logistic provider has that capacity on hand.
Okay.
So that's why we made the very bold promise. I mean, we are number one in the market in Vietnam today on sea logistics, and we want to be, by end of the year, number one on air. So, and I think, yeah. And we made a bold promise on NP2 in 5 years, but that I will not put on record. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm coming to the second last question. So it's on people and development. And I think you touched on it, but maybe you could answer the question. What is our long-term strategy to prioritize and invest in employee development across all levels in the organization? And how do we align that with business goals and future talent needs?
This is a complex one, rather big one. So first of all, reiterating what I have said with the leadership training, right? So our company, the last decades, always were in belief that our leaders are self-learners, and we don't need to help them, or we don't need to help the people in terms of what is good leadership all about. How do we build these teams, right? How do we lead by example? What do we do different in order to really foster and unleash this organic potential? So this commitment from us, from the Knagel board, is going to continue. So we will further invest into it, even if the times are getting harder, right? Because we will not stop investing into our people on all levels. So this is the first commitment. And then secondly, all business units have different products and different, to a certain degree, different dynamics and different trade lanes. And they as well need to come up, and they will as well, with their individual talent management initiatives in terms of what is needed, right? In contract logistics, you have a program, what is needed in road, and sea and air, which is a little bit similar. So my commitment is to the organization, we will not stop investing, and we will try to educate, coach, develop people as much as we can. I have as well had the opportunity to talk to the talents here of the Vietnamese organization, and I encouraged you pretty much so, raise your voice if you want to move to a different location, if you want to grow, you're not listening, if you are growing, want to grow basically to the next level, and if you want to leverage your career in Europe, in the US, wherever, we are here to listen. HR is going to help you to set that up. Huh?
Okay. So let me go now to the last question, and it's a kind of big question. So if you were to sum up, what is the key criteria for Kuehne+Nagel to become the #1 logistics provider? What does it take?
So basically, it's pretty simple. It's absolutely simple. And listen to the customer, listen to Elena. Be extremely close. Understand what their triggering points are. What do we need to do in order to help them to become more successful in their market? Okay. Then automatically, if you really understand that, we as an organization, we will drive the right products, we will drive the right people, the right behavior, the right leadership. Always, always focus on customers, and nothing can happen to us. Even if the market is going upside down, customers will always be there, and customers, if they trust us to 100%, will hand over their orders to us and not to anybody else. That's for me pretty clear. And she has in principle confirmed that this is the key triggering point for their decisions.
Great, thank you. So that's the end, Stefan, of the Q&A.
Thank you very much to both of you. So let me conclude the official part now with what we have promised to the market. So my colleagues and myself, we have promised to the market that we grow 1.5 times the global GDP. Global GDP currently is around, let's call it 3%-ish. And we have promised that in the business units, sea and air from a volume perspective, road is revenue, contract logistics revenue as well, we grow 1.5 times the global GDP. So for Vietnam, the minimum is 7.5, 8.5, 1.5, double digit. So never ever grow below double digit. So, but that is depending on the market. But this is our promise, right? And I would like to keep our promise to the market. We are Kuehne+Nagel and we always deliver what we have promised. So thank you very much. Now listening in, and thank you very much for your interest, and goodbye to the people outside, but you can watch because we now do something special with the Lego here. Join me in putting everybody one brick to this visual and support the Lego journey here in this RDC in Vietnam. Thank you very much and goodbye.